Hello Patriots, welcome to my channel and welcome to you new folks that are stopping by. I appreciate that. Today is Wednesday, it's July 29, 2020, it's 1:34 p.m. and today we're going to be discussing the MKUltra. And I've done one before, but you know, it never hurts to make another, especially for the newbies. And especially for those that missed the first one. Okay, so let's get started. And I ran into this article with declassified CIA files reveal the truth behind the bizarre mind control experiment. The CIA carried out the clandestine MKUltra mind control experiments using hypnosis and the drug LSD on its own scientists, newly declassified documents have revealed. And let's give a listen to this little snippet here. It says, CIA expert John Greenwald claims to have discovered the shocking truth behind the agency's illicit MKUltra mind control experiment. Using the Freedom of Information Act, he believes he has discovered how the U.S. intelligence services experimented on both humans and animals using drugs and hypnosis for the top secret project. Let's give a listen.
And Burl Ives, he was a 33rd degree Mason. So all of you people who think that all these secret societies, everyone in it knows everything, they don't know anything. And he said to me, he said, we all know that Marilyn Monroe didn't die of an overdose.
Boop, boop, be doo.
He said, do you know why they killed Marilyn?
This President, the late Marilyn Monroe.
And I said, well, I didn't until I got this document. It's a virtual death warrant because she was found a couple days later. 3 August 1962, wiretap of telephone conversations between reporter Dorothy Kilgallen, who was looking into Roswell and other UFO issues, and her close friend Howard Rothberg. From wiretap of telephone conversation of Marilyn Monroe and Attorney General Bobby Kennedy. Rothberg discussed the apparent comeback of the subject with Kilgallen and the breakup with the Kennedys. This is referring to the fact that Marilyn Monroe had been having an affair with not one but both Kennedy brothers, and it was becoming conspicuous, so they broke it off. Rothberg indicated in so many words that she had secrets to tell, no doubt arising from her trysts with the President and the Attorney General. One such secret mentions the visit of the President at a secret air base for the purpose of inspecting things from outer space.
Experiments which were too dangerous and too shocking, too unusual for routine testing would be of interest to us, the memo from 1956 details. Mr. Greenwald has been fighting since 1999 to get the CIA to hand over the documents and says they completely rewrite the history of the controversial project. One of the most shocking revelations reveals the secretive U.S. agency even experimented on its own scientists. He said, so in the 1950s, they decided to do an experiment that brought together some of their own CIA scientists to what they thought was a retreat center. They dropped LSD into the after-dinner drinks of the scientists to see if they could extract information from their own scientists. Can you imagine? This picture right here says, MKUltra. Dr. Frank Olson had an adverse reaction to the LSD. That's this gentleman right here. The CIA finally provided John with 30,000 pages in 2004. But the experiment went wrong because one of the scientists didn't drink, so he didn't take the glass of Cointreau. However, the experiment derailed even further when one of the scientists, Dr. Frank Olson, had an adverse reaction to the LSD. And in the days that followed, he exhibited very paranoid and schizophrenic qualities about him after this experiment by the CIA. And in the middle of the night, the scientist took his own life. The U.S. government first described his death as a suicide, and then as misadventure, while others allege murder, with his family claiming the CIA is behind a major conspiracy. This tragedy led to Congress becoming aware of the MKUltra program, leading to the information of the Church Committee. Although the CIA admitted to running the covert operation during congressional hearings in the 70s, they claimed all records related to it had been destroyed. Mr. Greenwald's battle for information started in 1999 when he requested the only documents related to MKUltra that the CIA said had not been destroyed were 30,000 pages of financial records. The CIA finally provided John with 30,000 pages in 2004, which they claimed were a full and complete set of records related to the project. And Mr. Greenwald believes the MKUltra program represents a nadir for the notorious government agency. He said, "I would say it's a black mark eye on the CIA's history. It's nothing that they would be proud of because despite it being ragingly successful, they had a lot of collateral damage." In the CE Collective Evolution Alternative News, I found this article that says a woman shares what her experience was like inside of the MKUltra program. This was published 5 months ago on March 11, 2020. It's by Arjun Walia, Arjunwalia. According to the U.S. government, MKUltra was the code name for a secret program run by the Central Intelligence Agency to conduct mind control experiments on human beings from 1953 to 1964. The people used in these experiments did not suspect it, seemed to be chosen at random, and were often left emotionally crippled for the rest of their lives. The rationale for this type of activity? Well, it's the typical answer: for national security purposes. Basically, the program was designed to make people do things they normally wouldn't do while under mind control for the purposes of whatever's in charge and calling the shots atop the military-industrial complex. That's where you get these snipers from and these killers. They do the dirty work for the governments. They don't know what they're doing, but they're doing it. Dr. Ewan Cameron, who's since passed away, was a Scottish-born psychiatrist who served as president of the American Psychiatric Association and Canadian Psychiatric Association, among others. He was one of many who conducted these experiments on patients. Again, the subjects were never told that they were being used as guinea pigs. This topic became so serious and a lot of information and research was being conducted by independent researchers to the point where the United States government could no longer deny that these programs took place. Eventually, they declassified what they had, and the government issued an official apology for the program and its victims in the mid-90s. Well, big deal. They couldn't bring back the people to normal. They ruined a lot of people's lives. An apology is nothing. It's meaningless. They should all been hung at that point. I'm sorry. Multiple victims have also come forward sharing their disturbing experiences, and you can access those files via the CIA's electronic reading room. Simply use MKUltra as the keyword in the search. As with any sensitive and controversial subject, the disclosure of information is usually based on my research into black budget special access programs. It's a way to put the subject to rest or claim that this is all there was to this program. It's a quiet way to stop the concern and questioning from citizens without really disclosing the full extent of the program and whether it still runs today. And I believe that our television, mainstream media, and more were all birthed out of mind control programs and intentions. But that's just speculation. But it makes sense to me, doesn't it to you? I mean, they're literally programming you, so if you're watching TV, they can give you subliminal messages. Was the program really terminated? We'll get to that a little later on this article, but my main concern right now is the idea that the MKUltra mind control experiments only consist of LSD, electroshock therapy, and other torturous actions. This is evident by recent programs who covered the topic, but it's simply not true. As usual, there is much more to the history. Below is a video of Elisa E., author of 2 books, Our Life Beyond MKUltra, who comprises of book 1 and 2, and in it she describes her life of trauma-based mind control from birth, what happened, who was involved, and basically answers every question that would pop into your head if you are somewhat skeptical. In the book and in the interview, Below, she describes how the trauma she experienced split her personality into several different people, to be used by prominent figures within the military-industrial complex for multiple purposes. For anybody who researches the MKUltra topic, this is the basis of it. It's trauma-based mind control. Multiple personality disorder is a real disorder and is often triggered by severe trauma experienced as a child. This is the backbone of the MKUltra program, torturing individuals in order to create multiple personalities. These soldiers are then apparently used by the global elite to share classified information and messages, among other things, without ever questioning what they were doing, sort of like a robot. They don't even remember what they do because when they're doing it, if they're taking on the consciousness of somebody else, their uses are many. There are rumors floating around among researchers in this community that numerous presidents and politicians are actually part of the program themselves, having suffered from trauma-based mind control in order to play a certain role, like the President of the United States, for example, but we can't actually verify that as truth. But again, the fact that is that multiple personalities do develop as a result of trauma. Kim Noble, for example, is an artist with different personalities, 20 of them in fact. After suffering childhood abuse, Kim's mind split into 20 distinct personalities to cope with the trauma. Over a dozen personalities are painters, including Judy, the bulimic teenager, a gay man named Ken, and a mother called Patricia. Here's a story that Vice did on her. This is an enormous amount of literature and information that exists out there, so if you want to learn more, please do your research. It is important to make note of the fact that the MKUltra program was not the only one which dealt with mind control. There was also Bluebird, Artichoke, MK Search, MK Naomi, and the Stargate Project. Beyond simple use of mind control slaves for political and other purposes like warfare, in the interview below, Elsa also mentions that altered states of consciousness and magic-type rituals were used by the elite to communicate with extra-dimensional beings. Now we know where popular Netflix series Stranger Things got their inspiration from. At the end of the day, there are multiple programs inside the military-industrial complex utilizing information and knowledge not available to the public and for their own selfish purposes. This type of information that exists within the black budget world actually has the power to help transform humanity. It's not what you know and what you can do or what type of technology you can make. It's the consciousness behind these things that determines what direction we take. We can use our knowledge and understanding of the human mind for good or not. At the very least, talking about and exposing that this type of activity is actually a reality. I'm not sure what the solution is or how to stop it, but I know staying silent and not sharing this information is just not right. And of course, the video is unavailable. Important info. Researchers in the field and those from within these actual programs have been coming forward for years, sharing what they know regarding the truth of MKUltra. One of these people is Dr. Colin A. Ross, a psychiatrist who was the president of the International Society for the Study of Trauma and Disassociation from 1993 to 1994. He's an internationally renowned clinician, researcher, author, and lecturer in the field of disassociation and trauma-related disorders. He is the founder and president of the Colin A. Ross Institute for Psychological Trauma. He has been running a hospital-based trauma program in Dallas, Texas since 1991 and has authored 29 books and over 200 professional papers. So what does it say when a professional like this has been touring the world with MKUltra victims, spreading awareness about trauma-based mind control? The people this man has come to contact with in some cases in order to treat must be quite overwhelming for him. He states, I'm going to base what I have to say here on the motto of one of the great law enforcement officers of all time, which is Sergeant Joe Friday. And his motto was, just the fact, ma'am, just the facts. So what I'm going to give you is just the facts. A little quick synopsis of absolutely documented object, real history of CIA military mind control experimentation. This, for sure, is just the declassified tiny tip of the iceberg, but it's definitely fact and it's definitely stranger than fiction. The quote above comes from Dr. Ross giving a lecture alongside Kathy O'Brien, a supposed MKUltra victim, and Roseanne Barr, a famous Hollywood actress and director who once said, "MK rules in Hollywood." A couple of years ago, Roseanne and Kathy actually came to Toronto to give a talk. I was in attendance and was able to ask her a question regarding some popular entertainers and celebrities. I asked her if they have multiple personalities and if they have handlers to trigger them into a specific personality before a performance. She told me yes, and used Miley Cyrus as an example. This means when you see some entertainers give certain performances, it's not really them, but an alter personality which exists inside of them that is triggered before the performance. They are hypnotized. This is why she said MKUltra rules in Hollywood and that it's a cesspool for government mind control. Well, I've already told you that it's controlled by the CIA, remember? So when Ross started getting into the research a little deeper, his name was slandered, as expected, when going beyond what's been disclosed about MKUltra program, especially if you are a respected academic. He was taken to court multiple times, having a number of false accusations placed against him. It's similar to high-ranking reputable scientists which verified credentials from within the Department of Defense, despite the fact that there are dozens of them. When they chose to speak of facts, they became aware of that just don't fit the framework of accepted knowledge. They too are often ridiculed. You'll see this if you do any research into the UFO phenomenon. Ross eventually uncovered a number of individuals who repressed memories of abuse, and that started shortly after birth. By use of brainwashing techniques, drugs, hypnosis, age regression, calling out alter egos, and more, these people were controlled. And many of them, as uncovered by Ross, and many others have multiple personalities within them as a result of childhood incest, rape, abuse, satanic cult abuse, rape, and more. Again, I'd like to emphasize, he's not the only one. This is a topic that involves too many professionals to name it, too many victims as well, at least the ones who survived. Survivors of the program, like Kathy O'Brien, describe these they experience as well, being forced into these things from a very young age since birth, and points to the fact that the families, the parents, and the siblings have or do all go through the same thing. Well, you'd have to, because you can't just do it to the child without doing it to the parent. You know, they all have to be under this program or one's going to tell on the other. Supposed victims of the program also described horrible experiences of watching others tortured to death. And this type of thing also correlated with the FBI investigations and reports of elite-level child abuse in the form of pedophilia rings. Ted Gunderson, former FBI special agent and head of their LA office, worked to uncover and expose these horrors before he died. A simple YouTube search of his name will show you exactly what he spent his last years researching his source, and here's one of his last lectures. He is one of several dozen to have investigated this topic and found some disturbing facts. Here's another lecture he gives with victim of these programs who also describes the horrible experience mentioned above. And one of the most recent examples is former U.S. State Department official Steve Piesnik. His roles within U.S. politics were many, having been the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State under Henry Kissinger, Cyrus Vacne, and James Baker. He's recently been outspoken about pedophilia within elite political groups. Let's go back here because I think there was another. Oh, it's a book, paperback book. It says Our Life Beyond MKUltra, books 1 and 2, is an insider story of intentionally designed trauma-based mind control, multiple personality disorder, and her resultant using involving government, military, intelligence, religious and corporate organizations and institutions, as well as the insidious control of humanity by an eons-old cross-dimensional species involved in hybridization and cloning. The demigods and Nephilim of old have a predominant role in her story, having encountered them repeatedly in the altered consciousness of trauma-based mind control program, as well as full awakened consciousness. It is a journey through the mind fragmenting black tech being utilized by a bloodline network of human victims to these malevolent beings who are now its minions and perpetrators. Elise's is a story of abilities attained through the process, some of which still remain well into her deep deprogramming, which began April 2008. Her story takes you through hybridization, cloning, and cybernization, though not in the future, instead already here and successfully implemented in the black projects of high-level mind control. Our Life Beyond MKUltra is contained in 2 books to provide the perspective of not only the horrendous programming and on-task years running decades, but the life-threatening journey that continues in deep programming. Her contention, once MKUltra, always MKUltra. However, the dismantling and manageability of her still surfacing alters and programs have allowed an intelligent and self-aware evaluation of not only her own situation, yet that of the next level end-time agenda now affecting the globe. If the current intellect continues to demand that all that is surreal is a judge to falsehoods, then humanity will not extract itself from the impending species control. According to Elisa and many other alternate personalities, the next level is total control of the human species without their recognition that it occurred. And that brings me back to the RFID chip. You know, they're doing whatever they can to take over the human race. And that just came into my mind right now. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But that's what came into my mind. Why are these so-called Faucis and Birxes? And Fauci's not even a doctor. Give me a break. What he is a living Grim Reapers. Him, Birx, the WHO organization, all those nefarious beings, they're all involved in this. I look at them as the Grim Reapers because they're trying to take down humanity. So you can't allow that to happen. Say no to these stupid swab tests. Say no to vaccines. It's time to move out of the Western style of health, because what we're doing is we're burning ourselves out with whatever it is that they put in medications. We don't even know what they put in, and they come from China. What does that tell you? These are MKUltra glitches and strange behaviors. Take it for what it's worth.
With emotions and business aside, you have to separate the two, and you don't know how to do that. So that's where I come in, and I keep your emotions, and I deal with your emotions over here. But when it comes time for business, I implement what you told me on the emotion side to handling it in a professional manner, because sometimes it's hard for you to
Dada, you have one pizza, Dada, please. Dada, for AJ, you have one pizza,
Ой, тут так, 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 так,
little bit closer. Look at Anne. He's on his foot. Look back, dude. Guys, she's not going to do anything for you. Find her now. Well, still right for that. I love ya.
You know, on the backside, Isaiah Thomas, but it's just going to be, you know, they're going to give it a run, but, you know, it's just going to be hard to beat the Cavs right now. I think they'll top the game.
Yeah, I got to go with the majority. You know, they're on a mission right now. You know, I guess they want to show the public that last year wasn't a fluke for us. You know, we're here, we're for real team.
Speaking of shortness, 2 Chainz, you got a shot, 2 Chainz? You got a shot, let's hit a shot, dog. Speaking of shortness, 2 Chainz. Got a shot. Speaking of shortness, 2 Chainz, you got speaking of shortness, 2 Chainz, you got a shot, 2 Chainz. Got a shot, let me see that shot, dog.
You need to remind yourself that you need to focus and try not to let stuff bother you as much as possible. But it is going to bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human still. But I was just referring to myself in the past. Not that I was not human.
I'm human, and I was human. I am human still. But I was just referring to myself in the past. Not that I was not human.
Privacy thing, and I thought that was a fascinating
It's
answer.
okay. You want to take off the hoodie?
No, I never take off the
I know you don't. But there's a group of women in the audience that wish you would.
No.
Girls?
Whoa.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah, that's okay.
Can you explain what this instant personalization thing was that you did, and why you did it, and what's the value of it to your users?
Maybe I should take off the hoodie.
Take off the hoodie.
Go ahead.
That's it. Go ahead. Here. You get someone. You all right?
Yeah.
This is a great moment in internet history.
What?
You all right?
What are we gonna do with the mic?
Put it on your...
Put it on the collar of your t-shirt. You want some?
You need some help?
No.
All right. Mark?
Sorry about the...
Okay, come on, Mark.
No, it's...
We're not even yelling at you.
Yeah.
Yet.
We're not going to yell at you.
No, of course not. That is a warm hoodie.
Yeah, no, it's a thick hoodie. It's a company hoodie. We print our mission on the inside.
What?
Oh,
my
really?
God, the inside of the hoodie, everybody. Take a moment. What is it? Making the
world more open and connected.
Oh my God, it's like a secret
Cool.
cult. Look at that, making the world open and connected, stream graph platform, and this weird symbol in the middle that is probably for the Illuminati. Oh, 2010.
No, it's 2010.
Oh no. This weird symbol in the middle that is probably for the Illuminati. Oh my God, it's like a secret cult. This weird symbol in the middle that is probably for the Illuminati. Oh my God, it's like a secret cult.
People of Australia and of our show, we were very empathetic about what happened and very sort of horrified. And so we were wondering, how is everyone going? How's Kim doing?
What? Okay.
I'm sorry, is there someone talking to you?
Yes, sorry.
Sorry about that. So I just was wondering
It
how
just
everyone's
came
doing.
in.
Hello, Courtney. Have we lost you?
Bad news for the Obama administration. We have this new CNN ORC poll, which is quite a turnaround in
Well, a very, very heavy rotation tonight. We had a very Darrison, let's go to Terrace and look for the head of the pit. We had a very Darrison, but let's go to Terrace and look for the bit. Have the pet.
I'm sorry.
Wipe the drill.
I was in a trance.
Yeah, wipe the drill there.
Yeah, it's a difficult title. It's a good day to die.
But I suppose it's because you had kind of a good day, and if you would have died, well, so be it. Is that it?
That's right. That's a good question. Have a sandwich, and let's go shopping. Dire.
That would have been your chosen title.
Well, it's about, it makes about as much sense. A good, or maybe there is a good day to die hard.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
You've had a rough year. You've had a year that would test a lot of people. Illness in the family. A breakup. This spasm of publicity about what happened from Mexico to London.
It was pretty rough. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ah, weird. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew. Strawberry. Yeah, it was weird. God. Ew. I'm scared.
We will turn now to a story that is burning up the internet, burning up the water cooler talk. It's just burning this morning, yes. Britney Spears. She's bald. We've got this photo now from the X17online.com, and it appears to show the pop star shaving her own head.
Public unraveling of yet another child star. This is Amanda Bynes we're talking about, formerly of Nickelodeon. Here she is wearing a ratty wig, appearing in court on charges of smoking weed and then throwing her bong out of a 36th floor apartment when police arrived. Bynes insists she is fine, but recent events suggest otherwise. ABC's Gio Benitez is on the story. Gio, sad stuff.
It really is, Dan. This morning, Amanda Bynes denies it all, saying she never tossed anything out through the window. It's a bizarre new case for her growing list of problems, and wait till you see how she showed up in that court.
Flower now, Roper. Will someone do the junior high dance? It's like this. You make it real awkward.
That's exactly how you have to have a certain amount of distance between the bodies
exactly.
in junior high.
Yes, like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
35 years ago today, Elvis Presley passed away, the king of rock and roll. And as Mark Cohn says in his great song, Walking in Memphis, there's a pretty little thing waiting for the king down in the...
Harbor, Michigan, and what a pleasure for Herbie and me to introduce Marshall Mathers. Some of you may know him as Eminem, but he's going to join the Saturday night crew with our music intro starting next Saturday night. But folks, I want to take you to the world premiere of one of his new videos called Berserk. Take a listen. It's headed for the top of the charts. Was that the great Rick Rubin who was helping produce that with you, Marshall, when you did that? Yes, sorry. Live TV. Live TV freaks me out a little bit. Yes, I'm sorry. What was the question?
But it's been a heck of a ride, to be honest. I really can't complain. Yeah, I was kind of I was a little down when I found out I was injured and I had to have surgery again, or you know, with another knee. But at the end of the day, you know, I have amazing teammates. You know, guys like Draymond, everybody on this team, they come over there, they wrap their hands around me like, yo.
I'll stare at the top of your screen over here. Jason Terry. And meanwhile, the Cavaliers give up 2. Wow.
Can you take us through what happened with the play with Jason Terry?
What play?
You ran off the court and hugged him and gave it the layup.
I don't remember that.
You didn't know they were inbound the ball?
What play you talking about?
In the first half, you ran off the court and hugged Jason Terry and Snell got a layup because you were off the floor.
I didn't know I was in the game.
What's with the ski mask?
Kind of, it's my alter ego, so I just, you know, it was a gift from Ohio State, so figure why not.
Does your alter ego have a name?
Yeah.
What is it?
I can't tell you.
It was a wonderful, meaningful endorsement in every way, and I was very proud of it. You guys have got to try the cold chai. You guys have got to try the cold chai. In every way, and I was very proud of it. You guys have got to try the cold chai.
This is a video of Hillary Clinton fainting in 2012, where she suffered a concussion.
Just turn your side down. Okay. Please.
Sorry,
Please don't. This is.
Genius has requested that students stay in your seats.
In covertly recorded off-air transmissions from the Bush-Clinton presidential election campaign in the 1990s, we can see that Bill Clinton was nothing more than a puppet to the puppet masters which placed him in the White House. Bill Clinton's demeanor seems to be similar to a person who is under a hypnotic trance.
Remember that every single man, woman, and child in the state of South Carolina awakens to a freer, safer world because of George Bush. I would remind people that every single morning we all awaken to a safer, freer world because of George Bush. And Nicole, I would remind you of the people of Florence that all of us awaken every single day to a freer, safer world because of George Bush. They themselves awaken every single day to a freer, safer world because of George Bush.
This is unreal. I'm supposed to start talking. I'm sorry, I'm sick. On behalf of this fearless and talented cast, we would like to thank, oh, it's so heavy. We'd like to thank Netflix, Sean, Matt, Ross, and the amazing casting director, Carmen Cuba. And I would just like to say that in light of all that's going on in the world today, it's difficult to celebrate the already celebrated Stranger Things. But this award from you, who take your craft seriously and earnestly believe, like me, that great acting can change the world, is a call to arms from our fellow craftsmen and women to go deeper, and through our art to battle against fear, self-centeredness, and exclusivity of our predominantly narcissistic culture, and through our craft to cultivate a more empathetic and understanding society by revealing intimate truths that serve as a forceful reminder to folks that when they feel broken and afraid and tired, they are not alone. We are united in that we are all human beings, and we are all together on this horrible, painful, joyous, exciting, and mysterious ride that is being alive. Now, as we act in the continuing narrative of Stranger Things, we 1983 Midwesters will repel bullies. We will shelter freaks.
Hey, stop. Hey, radio, fuck you. Radio, fuck you. Y'all don't want to lose again. A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why? Because y'all been lied to. Google lied to you. Facebook lied to you. Radio lied to you. Radio, fuck you. I am putting my career, my life, my public well-standing at risk when I talk to y'all like this. This is a moment in the matrix, bro. The vibes is back. You might not like it, but they gotta hear it. I ain't here to massage you with a fake truth. We are all great people. We are all equal. But sometimes we be playing the politics too much and forgetting who we are. Just to win. Fuck winning. Fuck looking cool. Fuck looking cool. Fuck being cool. Fuck all that, bruh. I've been sent here to give y'all my truth, even at the risk of my own life, even at the risk of my own success, my own career. I've been sent here to give y'all the truth. Jay-Z called me, bro. You still ain't called me. Jay-Z called me. Hey, bro, Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them out my head. Just call me. Talk to me like a man.
Just friends, and it's a good man. Doing well. Long time. We've been friends for a long time. Life. We discussed it.
Hi, no comment back to me. President-elect of the United States, nothing to say?
I just want to take a picture right now.
Não se dá.
Never shit forgets me, don't see that.
Never shit forgets me, don't see that.
This is the life of a targeted individual, MKUltra, a monarch slave. Disney programming, if you will. Let's listen to what he has to say.
What up, y'all? So I'm gonna try to stop being all silent Bob. I have trouble articulating my thoughts a lot of times. It's very difficult to explain it all. There really is no rational explanation or logical explanation for it, but I gotta try to be a little quiet because it's the middle of the night. Can't sleep once again, go figure. But yeah, it's really hard trying to put it in words, like what it really all is. It's like, well, first of all, I mean, thinking back on it all, it's like it's been this way from the very start. And, you know, people always tell you, oh, it gets better. But it's like, I've been waiting my whole life for it to get better. And I've pretty much tried all these earthly remedies. And there's not here. It's all empty. It really is. But I mean, just so crazy. Like, you know, they talk about taking a look in the mirror and mirror on the wall, and like, I get what you're getting at, golden rule and all that stuff, but it's just so bizarre, like, to feel like you're groomed for this your whole life, and then have nothing to show for it once you realize that, like, you were right. You know, it's just like, now the persecution actually gets worse, like you get made fun of worse. It's like it doesn't get better. You're lying. Or you're just deceived or something. I don't know. The mind control is real. It's been going on a long time. Nobody wants to admit it. These celebrities in Hollywood and all that, I guarantee if not all of them, most of them do worship Satan. Most of you know that. You don't want to admit it. Or you think you have all the answers and that none of that stuff is real, which you're completely brainwashed if you believe that. Yeah, but like, just little things, like, it was like I was always meant to pay the price for everything since birth. That's what it feels like. You know, I was like under 10 years old, I would like start jamming some music, and then my brother, who like plays guitar, he's real good at guitar, it was like, you know, he's the one that got me into music pretty much. And my dad too, he plays guitar, and you know, I love that. I love listening to them and everything. And all of a sudden, I still have this memory of like my brother one time being like, that music pollutes your mind, or it warps your mind, and all this stuff. It was like a really weird look he had on his face, like it wasn't really him, and I remember that. And it was just like, what do you mean? You're trying to tell me it's bad, but like, you're the reason I like it, you know? And it's just, but like in other little things, like I would, crazy stuff, like, oh, I'd piss my parents off from like not doing something I was supposed to do when I was a kid, and then like I'd wake up the next morning and get a phone call like, hey, turn the TV on, there's 2 buildings burning, 9/11, or like something else. Like I'd get a detention at school and I'd be like super bummed out about it because I like didn't want to get in trouble. I was like afraid of trouble, and next thing you know, like I go home, get yelled at or whatever, and then boom, Columbine happens. Just, or like, you know, like I'd get in a fight with my friend, and then the next day at school they'd be like, oh, 2 kids committed suicide in the woods out there yesterday. It's just like everything I've ever done or said has always had like an instant crazy reaction that I like feel in my soul, like it's somehow immediately like intimately connected to me. And it's always been this way. And then, you know, I got family members that deal with like mental illness and stuff. And, you know, it's hard when you have to go clear out like your aunt's house and after she dies, and you discover like all these writings on the wall and all this stuff to Yahweh and Satanism, and like, you know, something obviously possessed her, or she was battling real demons, and I can assure you now, they are real. And I'm not crazy or schizophrenic or bipolar either. Yeah, man, it's a never-ending battle from the moment you're basically awake at like 3 years old. Your first memories, like I said, my first memories of life were like literally knowing that this isn't going to be good, I don't want to be here, and like knowing even at 3 years old that there was no reason to feel that way, and this was not normal. It's like, you know already that you're like basically in hell and you're about to be fleeced. That's what it's like. And every time you turn around, there's somebody calling you delusional and all this stuff. Even though you end up seeing the reality of it with your own eyes, you're still the one that's delusional. It's just... like, I've always been somebody that cares about other people, cares about, you know, their feelings and stuff like that. I'm not like a little bitch, but I try to at least like be respectful to others. I'm definitely not perfect. But, you know, I see evil, I call that shit out. I don't like it. But it's like this world would have me believing I'm the fucking Antichrist now. I won't even go into all the things that I've actually seen manifest themselves. I see number 13s everywhere and voices telling me you're dead, and I won't even get into all that. The time I clutched my chest, I clutched my chest, fell to my knees. I lost the ability to use any of my muscles in my body. I was just on the floor, helpless, thinking I had just had a heart attack. I mean, I grabbed my chest, I fell. I had a voice a day before that threatening that they were going to give me a heart attack too. I couldn't make this stuff up if I tried. I'm not crazy. I'm just telling you this is what happened. I don't know if it's microwave technology or whatever. I don't know, but it's something. It's real. These people are not making this shit up. That's all I can tell you. Spiritual warfare does exist. And we're all living it, whether you people want to admit it or not. And you're all willingly or unwillingly participating. So keep making fun of the little guys that are trying to actually like let you know what's going on so that you can be spiritually prepared when they come for you. Keep laughing. But I'm telling you right now, these celebrities, they don't give a shit about you. These politicians, they don't give a shit about you. They've already made their decisions, I can guarantee you that. They picked their team or whatever. Most of them are just there to lead you to hell. And I found that out the hard way too. It's just so crazy because, I mean, you really do end up seeing like your true interconnectedness of like everything, and how every like word you say or don't say has like this profound effect on everything, the people around you. I mean, it got to the point where my thoughts and my anxiety and I was like, I could read people's minds, and it was, I'm not saying I could, but it was a lot like that. And when I would get like nervous about it because it was like too much power to wield, that it was like scary, that like I didn't want this because I know it's like witchcraft and it's definitely not, it's dark forces that I'm not supposed to be in touch with. Well, I mean, you start thinking about something or thinking too deep about it and like focusing so much, and then all of a sudden like the person next to me will just start fumbling their tools, dropping everything, like they can't function all of a sudden. They lose their form because your presence is just like disturbing the whole environment. Talk about crazy.
I almost forgot. Like, thumbs up, subscribe, share so we can get the word out. Okay, that's it. Love you. See you. Bye.